so I got used to, you know, being bald and loving it. So I was familiar with the term alopecia before being diagnosed with the condition by my dermatologist. Now, of course, I never thought it would actually happen to me. I would actually be dealing with this. And so I never even bothered to research or even familiarize myself with the signs and the symptoms associated with this autoimmune disorder. Now that I'm in a space where I'm living with alopecia, I feel very blessed and confident about sharing my story at this point. And that wasn't always the case. When I first started to see clumps and clumps of my hair falling out in and out of the shower, it was embarrassing at first. And I felt very nervous about bringing the topic up on my YouTube channel, because although I continued to upload videos, new videos on a weekly basis, there was something I was hiding behind the scenes. And I guess for me, I kind of wanted to hide what was going on until I knew more about exactly what was going on with my hair. And the last thing I wanted to do was come on camera prematurely talking about my hair loss and my hair struggles and just using it for clickbait. You know, I wanted to be very genuine and honest about my alopecia. So prior to talking about the topic on my channel, I just wanted to search for help and to gain knowledge and understanding about the topic in general. So as a natural hair and protective style influencer, you really get the opportunity to learn so much about your hair through trial and error. So 2 years into my YouTube journey, I felt I had a solid foundation routine as far as like how to take care of my natural hair and really maintain the health and retain length as well. So those were two specific goals I recall having at the beginning of this journey. And honestly, the goal was really to inspire girls and women and just people in general who look like me, that one, as a Black girl, you can grow long hair, and two, that there are so many ways to switch up your looks with protective hairstyles, all right, that are inexpensive and can have a powerful impact on your daily life. So of course, with my thick, kinky, natural hair, my wash days were very, very long, but I definitely still looked forward to taking my time through the process and giving my hair the extra attention that it required. However, I do remember one of the first times that I actually realized something was going wrong with my hair was actually on wash day. And to this day, I vividly remember detangling my hair and having clumps and clumps of hair falling out. And my initial thought was, wow, I have a lot of shed hairs and I need to take my time getting them all out and then move on to styling my hair. But after multiple excessive shedding hair wash day episodes, I started to get a little concerned, and I had to figure out what was going on with my hair, because at this point it had gotten out of control and I was no longer in control. And something that I initially assumed was shed hair had switched to there's something wrong and I need to figure out what's going on. So alopecia at this point had not even crept into my headspace, because again, I didn't think it would happen to me. And I just thought maybe it was some random product that I had introduced to my hair that was causing my hair to fall out. Now, during this time, I still wanted to be actively uploading content on YouTube for my audience, you know, to keep them aware of my existence, of course. So if you look back at past videos, I started to notice my hair loss. At the time I was filming and I uploaded my intense full 4C wash day routine, and every video after that was carefully filmed to hide my hair loss and my breakage. So you know that popular sound that's on TikTok and Instagram where it's like, show me a time where you were down and depressed and no one knew it? Well, I had plenty of those videos to like reference and to remember those moments of struggle and honestly of like helplessness and just like frustration. All right, so I look back at those videos and you would have never known the struggle and the loneliness and the helplessness that I felt behind the scenes of many of those videos, because of course I cut a lot of it out and I cried about it a little bit off camera. So yeah. So to put things into perspective even more, I noticed my first symptoms of alopecia in 2020, but I did not open up about the journey in general until a year after. I finally found the courage to film the video here, which is titled "I Shaved My Head." And even in that video, I hadn't quite determined that I was going through alopecia, but I understood that there was something deeper causing my hair loss. And a lot of my hesitation about opening up about my hair struggles is because the internet can be very brutal. And honestly, I just did not want to sit and see people try to blame me for my hair loss and over manipulating my hair and therefore causing my hair to be strained and fall out. I didn't want to see it, because I know my hair and I just knew for some reason that this was not caused by me experimenting with different hairstyles. And I just stopped blaming myself for it a long time ago. But I also did not want people to be giving me remedies and false information about, solutions to help with my hair loss. I'm a pretty stubborn person who loves to follow science and like proven methods to first understand my condition and second to help me figure out a treatment plan. I just wanted to silently go through the journey instead of having a bunch of people recommend products that would give me temporary solutions and not give me the answers that I was looking for to basically connect my symptoms with a specific disorder. Like, that is the connection that I wanted to make and that I felt like would help me feel better about the journey in general. So I don't want to make this video too long, so I will leave the link to where I talk about my hair loss in a detailed video down below and how I got started with this whole entire alopecia journey. I also opened up in those videos about my nightmare with seeking professional help from a dermatologist that did not treat me in the way that someone who is going through something as crazy as hair loss should be treated. And I just felt like there should have been a little bit more of a delicate process. My journey of trying to find a professional to help me was not a good experience at all. So without sharing too much about my alopecia story, because I will leave the link to that video down below, I would like to sum it up like this. I started to experience hair loss in 2020, and then I started to do my own research to help figure out what conditions could be causing my hair loss. And I also wanted to reach out to my primary doctor just to figure out, if she could kind of point me in the direction of where to go. And she kind of acted clueless. And this was around the time where COVID was, crazy. And after 2 copay visits, she finally recommended a dermatologist. And I'm just like, why didn't you do this earlier? Like, why? So anyways, I Google mapped a dermatologist in my area, and to this day, my experience with her just makes me so angry and frustrated, because the time that I was in her waiting room is longer than the time she took to examine me, only to tell me that my scalp looked fine, one, and that it was probably stress related due to COVID. And after being so disappointed with her service and hesitancy to even touch or deeply examine my scalp, I almost gave up on finding solutions to my hair loss issues, because I just knew that this appointment was going to give me all of the answers that I wanted, and it did the complete opposite. All right, so let's talk about mental health, because it was at this point that I started to struggle with my mental health after seeing that professional and them not helping me find answers or even having the willingness to help me with this journey. My confidence went down, and not to mention, I already put on a lot of weight due to the pandemic. And so I was stuck at home with all these thoughts in my head and no answers to run with. So I have already had anxiety for as long as I can remember. And I noticed that I started to get symptoms of like long depression episodes, and that was really scary for me. I wanted to give up on something I loved so much, which was making natural hair content. And I honestly had no passion for anything, and I could barely pull myself out of bed a lot of the time. But after numerous conversations with my husband, who knew everything I was going through and supported me through everything that I was going through, and ultimately gave me the confidence to really just embrace this journey altogether. So before I go any further, I just wanted to shave my head. So I filmed a video of me shaving my head, and I was at a very low point. I just needed to feel something outside of my depression. So I just went for it. And honestly, before shaving my head, I had already had so many symptoms that were popping up out of nowhere to add to the hair loss issue. You know, my hair was tender to touch. I had very thick dandruff, and I had extreme breakage down the middle of my scalp, and it was just getting harder and harder to camouflage my hair and the breakage during my install videos. So I was just over it. So I shaved my head for the very first time, and the relief and the confidence that I felt was powerful. Just thinking about that moment just gives me so many chills, because after the shock of seeing myself, of course, without hair for the very first time, I felt so calm and so peaceful, and a feeling of acceptance for my new journey. So I know it was the right move and my best move, of course, and I felt amazing. All right, so with my new look, of course, I was able to see the chaos that was hiding underneath my hair, and I'll put a picture up here. But now I felt like, okay, I can seek professional help again without them being intimidated by the coarseness or the thickness of my natural hair, of course, and they can see everything that they need to see to help me figure out what is going on with my hair and causing my hair loss issue. Of course, you don't have to shave your hair to get answers, but this is just what I wanted to do, and it felt amazing. Okay. So I finally built up the courage to try searching for answers again. Only then did I find one of the most caring, informative, and knowledgeable dermatologists that would take the time to really help me go through multiple stages to help me figure out what was going on with my hair, and that would eventually lead to my alopecia areata diagnosis. So typically alopecia is associated with hair shedding and bald patches. And when I initially started looking for information about what was causing my hair loss, I had not yet experienced all of the tall tale symptoms of alopecia yet. And it was not until I started to see bald patches combined with all the other symptoms that I was having that it was determined that I had alopecia areata. And so there was the answer that I had been searching for what seemed like forever. I had finally got. That was a happy moment. Now I've uploaded 2 videos detailing my experience with alopecia, and this will be the third. I have tried regrowing my hair after my diagnosis once. I was able to upload a video showing my growth and my progress in that video, and I will link that down below as well for you to reference. But sometime after filming that video, I started to get bald patches, and I had to undergo steroid shots to actually jumpstart the hair growth in those specific areas again. And I was just stuck in a cycle. You know, my hair would grow back, and then I would get a bald patch again. My hair would go back, I would get another bald patches, and they started to increase in frequency. I would get 1, 2, or 3 at a time, and it was just a constant cycle of regrowth and then steroid injections, and I really had to start thinking about my mental health and what was best for me. On November 22nd, 2021, I went to see my dermatologist again, and this time contemplating shaving my head again, and this time forever. So when I went into this visit, I had a conversation about my bald patches, constantly going through this cycle of regrowth, steroid shots, and my dermatologist did recommend more extreme methods to stop this cycle and to give my hair the best chance to grow without falling out. But of course, it cost a lot of money. and there was a chance that it wouldn't work. So either I basically had to make the decision on whether I wanted to take that pricier approach without a guarantee on what the finished result would be, or if I was okay with instead of fighting with my alopecia, living with my alopecia. So since then, I have made the decision, of course, to remain bald. And at this point, I don't see me growing back my hair again. So I have said a lot about my bad experience with alopecia areata and hair loss, but I want to say something good because I have always been a very confident and proud person when it comes to the way that I look. So what alopecia has added to my life is energy and like a powerful head turning vibe whenever I walk into a room. People stare, of course, and I did not want to be that person that was hiding underneath the wigs all the time and hiding underneath, hats. And I wanted to fully embrace this journey majority of the time, because of course I'm still going to have my moments with wigs and stuff because that's what I love, but I wanted to still be my normal confident self when I walked into a room. So I got used to being bald and loving it, and just living without my natural hair. So the entire experience has been life-changing and beautiful, and I have gained so much knowledge and understanding about the world of alopecia and how it affects so many people around the world. I think my personal experience searching for answers have led me to my alopecia diagnosis. Now, I could have hidden my alopecia for the rest of my life if I wanted to, but because I know hair and I know how to slay, even with a few bald spots or whatever, to make the best situation, a bad situation work for me. But then I think about, other people who believe that their hair is everything and who could not see themselves walking around bald and, of course, beautiful in a public setting, and who may potentially just not have the same confidence that I had when I first shaved my head bald. So I have so much compassion for anyone out there who is struggling to open up about something they're struggling with alone, and just understand you are not alone. What I have been loving is seeing and reading the stories left in the comment section of my videos of people sharing their personal hair loss stories. I know it has made me feel heard, understood, and I realize that I am not alone. And I think that's something big when you're going through something as huge as alopecia. My goal for sharing this information in the first place was to help others going through something similar. So if you are someone who is out there struggling, with alopecia, you're not ready to open up and share your journey, just understand that there is a huge community of people who are dealing with alopecia in so many different ways. I have a milder version of alopecia, but there are some people who have extreme, crazy episodes of alopecia that they are struggling with. But I feel like it's important to be open and honest, but not everyone feels like they want to actually upload and document that process, which I completely understand because it can be very nerve-wracking and embarrassing. But I feel like for me, I just wanted to get the information out there. And my ultimate goal is to be someone that you can look to fully, just embrace and be bold about whatever part of your alopecia journey you are on.